Hey crew, Conrad coming at you with a classified review on one of my favorite all-time cars, the TECH3 two-seat mid-engine. Let's jump right in. But wait, actually, I need to mention that the fellow that's selling this car heads up the Dumont Dune Riders Facebook group. So if you happen to frequent Dumont or you've never been, you might want to log in and take a look because they're going to have a lot of information, trip reports, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Look at this, showing this witch's eye. If you've never been to Dumont, it is a fantastic place. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, so it's kind of a hard drive to get over there, or difficult or long. But otherwise, here, check this out. Banshee, so forth. And did you know that they also have a website? And what do they have on there? Let's see. Forums, news, passes, buy, sell, all sorts of fun stuff. So if you're not really into Facebook, but you like to check out the websites, you're going to want to go see this one. And what do I see? The 11th annual Buggy Roundup, December 8th through 10th, 2023, and again in March 2024. Part of the reasoning for that is the road, Highway 127, is still closed from Baker to Dumont. So the SoCal crew, it's really tough to get up to Dumont right now, so they're going to do a second show, hoping that the road is open. So mark your calendars, December 8th and 10th, and then also make a note on your calendar for March for the Buggy Roundup. It is an epic event. You are not going to want to miss it. Okay, let's jump into the classified. Okay, so for the details, this car is brought to you by Sandcar Buy-Sell crew member Pete Greep. It is located in Henderson, Nevada. He is asking $32,000 for this car. And what do you get for that? A 2007 TECH3 two-seat mid-engine with a turbo Honda 3.5-liter V6 J35 A4, runs on 100 octane, sips fuel, very efficient. And I will concur on that because running those Honda V6s out of the dunes, you can pretty much fill them up once a day. It's pretty amazing. You also get a Mendeola 2D. Has a PBS shifter, Fox 2.0 coilover piggyback shocks, electric power steering, which is super nice, especially with the Razorbacks. Gear 1, rear hubs and brakes. Fantastic manufacturer, top, best of the best. I've actually been to the manufacturing facility over there at Gear 1. They do They do aerospace and military contracts and things like that. Their machines are just absolutely fantastic, and it's just a neat place. Gear 1 is one of the best. 930 CVs with 300M axles, an IntelliDash Crow 5-point harnesses, interior lighting, LED accent lighting in the engine bay, which is super cool. I got to do that on my car. LED headlights, sand tires unlimited on Douglas beadlocks. Car weighs 1,780 pounds and it's got 400 horsepower. So it scoots. He also states, very fast and agile car, handles like it's on rails, reliable and crazy fun to drive. I've owned the car since 2009. I'm the second owner and I'm only selling because I upgraded. Is this not an awesome photo as well? I mean, pulling his wheel stand, that roost, American flag flying on the whip, just, I don't know, super awesome. It was easy for me to choose this ad out of all of them because I saw this. And plus, I love the TECH3s. Okay, moving on. So let's jump in and see what I see. So beyond this beautiful paint job, we have the side panels running full length of the car. We've got a nice wing trunk. I like the radiator placement on that. We've got a full top. It's bending down in the front, which is really nice. Looks like some sort of a dash right here. And a little panel up here in the front. All right, so beyond the beautiful cosmetics on this, I also see a full set of beadlock wheels, front and rear. Sand tires unlimited. Looks like we've got some 33 blasters in the rear and some triple razors up front. Oh, and he did mention that it has power steering. If you've ever driven on razor tires after it's rained out in the dunes, man, they like to dig. And you almost get arm pump like you're racing motocross when you're driving your sand car. So that electric power steering is definitely an added bonus. Another thing I like about these cars is they have short A-arms. So you can fit these big tires on there and they're very structurally sound. Another bitchin' thing about this car is it's got the 5-link rear setup. Now this is what I was talking about as far as bridging the gap from the sand car to the mid-travel cars to the long travel cars is this 5-link setup right here. And I mean, this makes this a true legit sand car. There was only a handful of manufacturers doing this back in the day. That would have been Suspensions Unlimited on their Ultralight or Superlight. I can't remember which model it is. And then as well, unlimited RPMs. They used to build the 4-seater with the Mazda rotary engines in them, and they'd run a 5-link on their cars as well. And then there was a few other ones I just can't think of off the top of my head, but I really dig the 5-link setup. Okay, let's look at the next. Okay, so we've got a side view of this car, and if you've watched this channel long enough, you know I'm always harping on the front A-pillar. I like to have these straight up with a real tight bend, so your head is really far away from them. I don't like the layback designs on the front A-pillars that ends up on a lot of cars for some reason. I don't know why they do it. There's also a really nice grab handle built in right here to help you get in and out of the car and to hold on to when you're driving as well. Here we get an idea of the rear wheels. We've got a really nice setup on that. I don't know what brand that is. What brand is that? It's not Douglas. Is that Bogart? I think Bogart built those wheels. Anyhow, it's a really nice setup. Give you an idea of basically just the overall. Oh, I see that Honda V6 poking up. I see some chrome right there. Okay, now we've got the rear 3/4 view on this. And one thing I noticed straight away, as I was mentioning, is those short A-arms. You get an idea of how stout they are. You see that piggyback reservoir on there. Just really nice suspension setup. It lets you run that big front tire. The other thing that I noticed too is, check this out, the X bracing that we have through here. And I also see it up in the roof as well. There might be a picture of that later on. I'm not exactly sure. But look at the structure coming down here. We've got the tranny cradle on that one. And what do we see poking out? Mendeola. I love those fins. Mendeola is a fantastic transmission, and a 2D with a Honda V6 package is like in this. Bulletproof. Amazing setup. Really nice. And here we have the DumontDuneRiders.com that I mentioned earlier, as well as looks like some LED taillights on there as well. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a sticker. You need some stickers from Sandcar Buy Sell Crew on this. Anyhow, okay, next. All right, so here's a nice detail shot of that Mendeola, and you can also see the links. We've got 1, 2, 3, and then you have the 2 running forward, which is 4 and 5. Look at these carriers that we have right here. Super nice setup. Some billet brake line holders. He mentioned the Gear 1 disc brake setup, some 300M axles. I mean, everything that's put on this car, I mean, it's bulletproof. PBS shifter. Here's that mid-engine linkage setup that you see here. Looks like we've got a single muffler on there. So it's turbocharged, so it's already going to be quiet. So I'm sure that it's a fairly low decibel ride, right? I mean, I love loud cars, don't get me wrong, but I like quiet cars as well. Actually, I prefer quiet cars. Well, I mean, unless you're at the hill. Then I wish I had a cutout. Maybe I should get a cutout. I digress. Let's get back to the TECH3. All right, so we see Mendeola. Here's some car tech. Also, what do we got? I can't really see anything up there. Okay, next. So we're going to take another look at this rear end from another angle. Why? Because I see something squirreled away that's hidden down here at the bottom. Look where we've got the turbo setup. You can see the blow-off valve right here. So the setup is got it like right behind the tank, real low down. So it's a super clean setup where he mounted that turbo. And then also look at the 5-link setup. The bracketry that we see here, the tabbing. Just beautiful. Standard CNC standard CNC clutch. Looks like a really nice starter. Next. And now the engine. And this is where I'm like, oh yes. I'm a huge fan of the Hondas, the 3.2s or the 3.5. They're just super reliable. Like you said earlier, they sip gas. With a turbo on it, this car is absolutely going to scoot. I think he mentioned it was 1,700 pounds. So the chrome and polish on the intake, just beautiful. Here's the intake line. We've got chrome polished that leads down to the turbo at the bottom. Let's look at it from another angle. Okay, so here we've got a 3/4 view of this beautiful engine. We've got some powder coated covers right here. Another thing I noticed was the fuel tank. Really nice and flush setup. You can see the filler right here. And it's just a bitchin' aluminum tank. I see the fuel filters. And check it out. It's easy to get to. You can get under the car and take them off, and there's nothing blocking them. Because those things do get sand in them eventually. See a polished alternator on there. And then a full custom exhaust system. Tubular. What, we got some billet? What is that? Is this all? You know what? This must be the radiator overflow. I bet you that's what that is. I just can't tell from the other angle or this one too, but that's probably what it is. Give you another idea of that 5-link, and then here's the lower tube, the tranny hanger on that. Okay, next. All right, so let's jump into the cockpit and let's check out this seating arrangement. So it looks like we've got some extra wide, not sure what brand this is. It looks like a Beard seat from that era when they switched over to this belt design going through with the wide headrest. 5th point crotch strap crow harnesses. You got to have these, folks. You know, I'm always preaching safety on them, but it's one of those things where I just saw some photos of some folks out at the dunes for the Vets Day, the flag ceremony out in Glamis. And when you crank down on your belts up here and you don't have the crotch strap, that lower belt just comes up right to your belly. That's not good. You'll come right out the bottom of the belts if you stuff that car. So I'll get off the lectern on that one. Looks like the interior panels are lined with something, some sort of fabric. Nice steering wheel. Here's that PBS shifter with a billet handle. Oh, and some holes in the floor. You guys know I'm a fan of holes in the floor. All right, let's jump into the next. Okay, so we get to jump into the dashboard on this. So here's the holes. Easy for the sand to escape. Looks like we've got some sort of a pocket right here, like the PRP door bag, something along those lines. Mounted cooler so you can bring your lunch. Gives you an idea of this dash that I mentioned earlier. We've got this panel up here. And then here's your dash, your RPMs. It's going to give you all of that information. A couple of gauges on there. JMAR gas pedal. And it looks, oh, separate. So it's separate brake pedal and clutch pedal. I do see a dead pedal over there as well. Fire extinguisher is extremely important to have on your car. So nice to have that for safety. Oh, the walker brake is mounted on the left. I don't see too much else on this. All right, let's jump into the next. Okay, so I guess that was it for the detail shots, but he did include a handful of action shots. So this is certainly Dumont. Look at these buttery dunes and check out this shot from, it looks like a drone. What I was mentioning earlier was the shorter wheelbase, the 110, 115, somewhere around there, and then the wide stance. You see how the front tires match up almost to the back tires in the width? This car is going to be planted. Look at that V6 sitting right up there at the top. I love mid-engines, just a very well-balanced car, and I really dig the TECH3s. It's just a fantastic design. You know, I mentioned he was up in Oregon, TECH3 was, and they were manufacturing a lot of these, but word on the street is, or I should say, word on the dunes, ba-dum-bum, is he will still build you a car. If you're interested in a TECH3 rolling chassis or just a chassis kit, if you hit him up, look him up. I think it's Gary up in Oregon. But if you're ready for turnkey, Dune season's here, grab this one. Okay, let's check out the next. So check out this drone shot, right? Virgin Dunes out in Dumont. This has got to be right at the beginning of this season. Also, just noticed, it's a CNR radiator. I didn't see that in the other photo. So nice quality radiator on that. And he's flying Old Glory, which, you know, I'm always going to promote. I dig seeing those on the whip. So thank you for flying the American flags. All right, so I guess that's all I see on this one. Let's go ahead and close it out. All right, so all in all, what do you get for $32,000? A very well-built, classic TECH3 two-seat mid-engine Honda V6 Mendeola 2D. This car's ready to rock and roll. So otherwise, I guess that's all I got. Let's go ahead and close this out by saying thank you for watching. See you in the dunes.